I don't know what your other guests say, but as soon as that happens, you almost want to scream at the world because they're going like about their normal lives.
Yes.
And you're screaming, there is nothing normal about this. The
Exactly.
pain, the empty arms, you are literally having this extreme emotional reaction, physical reaction to this very hard thing. And everyone's around you, you think, just trying to process it. So we decided to just, you go through the whole funeral situation and you spend most of your time making others feel better about your situation.
Right.
Super exhausting.
Yes.
And I was trying to be grateful that I still had 2 boys here that needed me, that obviously had also been through their own trauma with me in the hospital. And we only had Logan's body. We didn't have Morgan's body. The hospital just took it. And so we were just going through this. It was mind numbing. I don't even know. It was kind of like a dream almost.
Yeah.
But I was not taking it very well. I was not processing it very well. I felt let down by God. I felt like, what was the point of all of that?
Right.
You could have just taken him at the same time.
Right.
I could have been saved from the physical trauma of C-sections and everything and shots every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with that loss of grief, that being the first time, and I think it's interesting because sometimes you're grieving the loss of the memories that you had. With the twins, I was grieving the loss of the memories that I never got.
Yes.
And it was so extreme. I can very, very distinctly remember just sliding down my kitchen counter, just trying to make dinner for the boys, just overcome with so much grief and pain and anger. Anger was, man, I was mad,
Right.
And I don't think I let a lot of people in at the time. I didn't think that there was a lot of people I felt like that could understand me.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think some people stayed away from me because they didn't know how to comfort me. But there was a lot of family members who stepped up and helped with the funeral. I don't know. It was a lot of grieving on my own. I think at the time, my husband and I were grieving differently, and I was upset at the way he was grieving.
Right. That's very common. I think I hear that a lot.
Yeah. Where you feel like you don't care because you're not showing this particular emotion.
Right.
And we didn't really talk about it between the 2 of us. I don't know if we didn't know how or we didn't want to.
Or you were just in so much pain.
Yes.
That would have required more than you physically or emotionally could have done. Maybe.
Yeah. And at the time, you don't realize that. You're not logical in your mind, but you're just kind of feeling it. And the interesting thing is, right after the funeral, I ended up back up in the hospital because I had contracted an infection in my uterus from the C-section and everything. And it was super bad. And I remember just saying, just let me go. I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I want to go see my children.
Right. Especially to have to go back to the scene of your greatest sorrow.
Yeah. I'm like, really? And that was the anger part. I'm going to have to keep going through this over and over again as if I haven't got through it enough,
Right.
So I feel like within that loss, it's 2 different experiences. The loss of my children. And when you lose a child, grief is mourning anyone's loss, but I feel like it's different in different ways for different situations. And that's what I've learned.
Right.
Is that the only thing that I kept holding on to was, even though I was mad about God or mad at God, the promise was that I would see them again. and that I didn't stop being their mom. And that was the only thread that I could grab onto during that time.
Right.
I think time helps a lot in moving away from that. But if you really never deal with it, then it's just kind of like shoving it kind of down into the recesses of like the dark parts of your soul where,
Right.
you may not want to touch it for a little while.
That's absolutely true. I mean, that's the thing about trauma, right? The thing about
Yeah.
trauma is that our brains process it in present time. It's always present time until we are able to, with our logical mind, work through what has happened. So it shouldn't be a surprise that just time doesn't heal the wound.